This is the A2 example video for slope. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples. So here we have an equation, a linear equation, in y equals mx plus b form. Okay, so we know when we have an equation in this form, this is called slope-intercept. And it's called this because this equation automatically tells us what the slope is and what the y-intercept is. So we know this m would be our slope. So all we have to do is identify in this equation what our m is. Well, that's our y, that's our x, and that's our b. So our slope must be 3 over 2. So I will write slope equals 3 over 2. And you are allowed to just leave it like that as an improper fraction. Okay, great. Let's move on to the next one. So this equation right here, another linear equation, is in point slope form. Okay, so the form for that is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, and just like the slope-intercept form equation, when we have an equation in point slope form, all we have to do is take a look at it, and our slope should be apparent. So if we take a look here, we have our y, we have our y1, we have our slope, we have our x, and we have our x1. So that means this 2 over 5 outside of our parentheses must be our slope. So slope equals 2 over 5. Okay, let's go to the next one. So this would be a standard form equation because the x and y are on the same side. Okay, so we have 3x minus y equals negative 2. So as we have discussed, there are two ways you can do this. You can convert this into slope-intercept form, or you can do the Jake's method. So we'll do both. So let's do slope-intercept form over here. And we'll do the Jake's method over here. So for slope-intercept form, all I'm going to do is get the y by itself. So if I subtract 3x from both sides, these will cancel. So I'm left with negative y equals negative 3x minus 2. Okay, and to get this y by itself, okay, has a negative sign right now, I can divide by negative 1, which would flip my signs over here. So I end up getting y equals 3x plus 2. So now this is in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So I know the coefficient here, so my number being multiplied by my x, is my slope. So my slope would be 3. Perfect. Now let's try the Jake's method over here. So the Jake's method tells us that all we need to find or identify are our a and our b. So our slope is negative a over b. Okay, so in this case, My a is 3, so I'll write negative 3 up top. And my b is negative 1, because this is negative 1 times y. So I have negative 3 over negative 1. Well, negative 3 divided by negative 1 is just 3. So these slopes are the same, which is exactly what we want. Solved it 2 different ways and got the same answer. Okay, pause the video if you need more time. Okay, let's take a look at these two. So, we know when we're given a graph, we need to identify 2 points. So we'll take this one right here, which would be at negative 4, positive 4. And this point right here, which is at negative 1, positive 2. Okay, so for a graph, our formula tells us that we take our y coordinates, and it doesn't matter if this y coordinate's first or this one, and we subtract or divide by the difference of our x coordinates. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll label all my points. So how about I label this x1, y1, and I'll label this x2 and this one y2. Okay, so now I'm just going to plug all my numbers in. So y2 is 4 minus y1, which is 2, divided by x2, which is negative 4, minus x1, which is negative 1. Be careful here. Remember to always write a minus sign or subtraction sign. And if you have to subtract a negative number, we can rewrite that. So we have 4 minus 2 divided by negative 4 plus 1, because 2 negatives make a positive. So 4 minus 2 is 2, and negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. So my slope would be negative 2/3. All right, so let's go to this problem right here. So we're given 2 points. So we're not given the graph. They've actually done some of the work for us. Okay, they've given us these 2 points. So what I'll do, I'll use this same formula. So I'll label all my points. So let's say this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, and this is y2. And remember, it does not matter if you label this point x1 or x2, or if you label this one x1 or x2. As long as your 1s belong to one point and your 2s belong to another point, you'll be all set. You'll get the same answer. So y2 minus y1, well, y2 is 1, y1 is 15, divided by x2, which is 18, minus x1, so minus negative 13. Okay, so we'll do some math. Actually, let me rewrite it first. So I have 1 minus 15 divided by 8 minus negative 13, which is the same thing as 18 plus 13. Okay, so I'll bring it down here. So 1 minus 15 would be negative 14. And 18 plus 13 would be 31. I can simplify this fraction, so that would be my slope. So at this point, you know how to find the slope given any linear equation, given a graph of a linear function, and given 2 points. At this point, if you feel comfortable, you may move on to A2 slope practice, A, B, or C.